Welcome back to Dad Deals. I've been on a hunt for a tonneau cover for my 2024 Chevy Colorado ever since I got it a couple of months ago, and if you're in a similar situation, you know that the choices are endless these days. I ended up going with the new BAK Revolver X4TS from RealTruck, so stay tuned and I'll share my experience installing and also tell you why I went with this cover and my overall thoughts after living with it for a little while. Full disclosure, RealTruck did send me this cover free of charge, but I reached out to them after I had already decided on this cover, and everything in this video is my true thoughts and opinions, and they haven't given me a script or anything like that to say. If you're not familiar with them, they've been around forever and really offer one of the best selections of truck accessories online. I will include affiliate links in the description below if you do decide to get this cover for yourself. So if you find this video helpful, all I ask is that you please use my links. So my criteria really when picking out a cover is I wanted something very sleek that really blended in with the truck bed, that set level with it. I also wanted something that offered full bed access. So I have a Chevy Colorado, which is a mid-sized truck with a shorter bed. So I didn't want anything taking up any space in that truck bed. So that kind of eliminated any of the retractable covers out there, where once it's wound up, it kind of takes up space in your bed. I also wanted something that was secure. So I didn't want anything that was the Velcro style or anything like that that someone could easily take something out of. I also wanted a cover that was very easy to handle with just one person. And this Revolver cover really hits that, as it rolls extremely easily and locks in place with a nice smooth locking action at the end. I also wanted something that offered decent water protection. Obviously with any of these tonneau covers, they're gonna leak a little bit at the edges, especially at the tailgate and as you get close to the cab. You can weather strip them a little bit more if that's really a concern, but really with all these tonneau covers, they do offer maybe 90 to 95% waterproof coverage, but really they're not going to offer 100% waterproof coverage. If you need that, you really got to step up to a shell or something harder, something like that. I really like it. The BAK Revolver has a nice soft look to it, but it's also hard and aluminum. And it actually has mechanisms on the side that will come in and lock and slide into the slats and give it that security that I really didn't find in a lot of the other covers that use Velcro and that kind of stuff to secure down to your truck bed. So opening the cover up is super easy. You just pull on the strings here. There's one on either side and you only have to pull one of them and then the whole thing just rolls up very easily. Now this Revolver cover comes in two different varieties. You can either get the tri-fold version or this roll-up version. I went with the roll-up version because when it is all the way rolled up, I can still see out my back window, and that was very important to me. The tri-fold version does actually give you full bed access, but when it's all the way extended, it does completely block the back window. So that was really the deciding factor for me on getting the roll-up version. Now this Revolver cover has been around for a while. There's been a couple different generations of it. This is the brand new generation. It is the X4TS, and that TS just means that it has T-slots on the side built into it, and that actually works perfectly with their Elevate rack that you can see here, and also works universally with any other T-slot accessories out there, which just makes this cover so awesome that you can have a secured area with the cover closed, or you can open it, and you can also have these racks, and you can operate the cover without messing with the racks at all, which was really the selling point for me. And then my last criteria was that it needed to be easy to install. So let's get right into it, and I'll share with you my experience installing it. So this will get shipped to you in one long box. I was happy to see that this is nicely packaged and there's even space on either side of it. So even if it does get crushed a little bit, it would really have to take a blow to damage the actual cover. So everything came perfectly packaged and was ready to go right out of the box. This does come with a lot of different weather stripping. Again, for my application, I'm really not concerned with 100% waterproof. That's really not what I'm looking for. I'm okay if it leaks a little bit at the tailgate and on the ends. But for my installation, I just went with the thicker bulkhead insulation that you see here on the left. And I'll get into the water test later in this video, and we're going to actually test it in a rainstorm and also in a car wash situation. So I'll share both those results at the end of this video, so make sure you stay tuned. But there's a bunch of weather stripping here, and you can really go to town as much or as little as you want with that. With this cover, there's no drilling involved at all. All you're going to use is a ratchet, and the whole thing is going to go together with these clamps. There's going to be 3 on either side of the rails. So it really is super easy to install. You're going to start by installing these little end caps to the T-rails. They just get put in with little set screws with the Allen wrench. From there, you'll put up each rail on either side and push it all the way up to the back of the bed and make sure it fits securely next to that weather stripping that you put on earlier. These are labeled right and left, which is always nice to have, so you really can't mess this part up. And then you'll want to attach your clamp. So you'll want to attach one as far back in the bed as you possibly can get. And then you'll want one in the middle. And then one as close to the tailgate as you can possibly get. So you're going to have 3 of these clamps on either side. These are also very easy to install. You just put them up as far as they will go and then just tighten them down with a ratchet. You will have one additional set of these clamps, and you'll want to put it right next to the clamp that you put up by the cab, and that has the buckle attached to it. So if you roll up the cover, it'll hold it down nice and tightly. Once both rails are on, you can actually take the cover out and roll it out over the rails. You'll install 2 T-bolts on the ends, and those are going to hook into those rails by the cab. You will need to climb into your truck bed to install those. So if you have a kid around or a teenager around, that's a good thing to get them to do. But it really is not a big deal. It actually comes with some thumb screws so that you don't need a drill or anything like that. And you can actually use those to take the cover off if you ever wanted to do that. One other thing to install are these bumpers. They just stick onto it. If you have this thing nice and tightly rolled up, it will never actually hit your back window. But there is a possibility to roll it up a little bit too loosely. And that's what these are for. They're just a fail safe, just in case it ever does touch up against your back window. It has these nice pads, so you won't have any scratches or anything like that. And that's it. You're done with the installation. The whole installation took me about an hour. I was trying to film different parts throughout it, so I bet you could get it done in a little bit less than that, but I would definitely allocate about an hour for the install. And that was doing it by myself. I didn't have any additional help, so it is definitely doable with just one person. Now on to the water tests. If you watch a lot of these other video reviews on this cover, a lot of people take it through a car wash. That is a little bit too intense and a little bit impractical to me. It is really fun to watch those videos, but there really isn't going to be a ton of times that you get pressure washer style rainfall on your cover. But in this video, I'm going to test both ways. I'm going to show you during a rainfall what it looks like and what the results were. And also I'm going to wash this with a pressure washer so you can see those results as well. So shortly after I installed this cover, we conveniently got a pretty decent rainfall where I live. So after it had rained for about 30 minutes, I went out and looked into the bed of the truck. And I was super impressed. It was mostly dry. There was a little bit of water getting in, again, at those edges, kind of towards the cab and at the tailgate. But I would call this maybe 98, 97% dry, which is absolutely a pass in my book. I also decided to give a car wash a try as well. With a pressure washer, I was not easy on this. I made sure to pressure wash on the edges right on top of the cover just to see how much water would get into it. So you can see here a little bit more water did get in from the car wash, but it is really just isolated at that tailgate section and at the very edges by the cab and tailgate. So really, again, this is really all you can expect out of these tonneau covers. And this should absolutely keep you mostly dry in almost any situation. But you really can't talk about this cover without talking about those T-slots that this new generation of it has. It works perfectly with RealTruck's Elevate system. I'll also have a link to that in the description. But this is super easy to install. You just comes with T-bolts. They slide into those T-slots, and then the rack attaches to that. This Elevate system has 3 different levels to it, so you can raise it well above your cab or also have it kind of low. You can attach bikes to these. You can attach cages to them. They're also great for obviously carrying kayaks or ladders or long lumber, things like that. But it's super flexible to work with, and it is just so awesome to have a rack system where you can roll up the cover, lock down the cover, so you can have some tools locked down under there and also have some stuff on the rack. Probably the only negative thing I can say about this rack is that it is not a quick change from the tall to the short positions. You do have to actually have a ratchet, and there's 2 bolts on each of the legs. So you kind of need to configure what you have before you maybe get on your trip. This isn't a quick change thing that you're going to want to do in the parking lot of a hardware store or something like that. But if you have the proper tools, it might take you about 15 to 20 minutes to make those changes. You'll also want to make sure that you protect your tonneau cover. These do get blasted by the sun. And my favorite product to use for this is the 303 Protectant. The nice thing about this is it works great at protecting against those UV rays, but also doesn't give that shiny, glossy finish, which I really didn't want on my tonneau cover. I wanted more of a matte finish like it comes from the factory, and this really preserves that while also protecting it. And I'll also have a link to this. The best place to get this is Amazon. But that's it. I hope this video was helpful in your decision-making process when you're deciding on the cover for you, whether it be a new one, or you maybe just got a truck and you're trying to decide which cover you want for your first one. I've really liked this cover. It works great for my situation. And as always, if you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel. And again, thank you to RealTruck for sending me this cover and being able to share my experiences with you guys.